Good evening, Mr. Davies, teachers, parents, special guests, and students, and of course, the matric class of 2023. Today marks a very special day, and I have been given the honor of introducing a distinguished individual whose legacy will never be forgotten in our home, Thomas More College. As head boy of Kloof High School, this individual matriculated in 1977. It's too high of a number for me to count, so please just bear with me. Without taking a break, he started at Stellenbosch University the following year, and makes it known how proud he is of his time spent there. After searching the history archives a little bit for some more information, I also discovers that he broke his studies at Steadies to be an exchange student in the USA. However, I'm not sure how he survived over there without his comforts of cricket and good beer. He then came back to South Africa, where he finished his degree and teaching diploma. Then went to the army for 2 years. Now I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that this is where he learns how to be a human megaphone. And he certainly has not forgotten his training in the army, as he is still efficient, respectful, and concise. He then came back to Kloof High School and began an extraordinary teaching career that spans over 38 years. He coached first team rugby at Kloof, and his passion for teaching and sport carried over when he joined Thomas More College in 1996. His love for cricket and rugby has made him an excellent coach, as it feels as you're always playing with an extra man by your side. Although we do feel bad sometimes when he runs into the field shouting at the ref. But this passion can never be matched. He is the chairman of the KZN Schools Cricket and coached KZN Schools A and B. He has been on numerous cricket tours and has loved every second of being a cricket coach. Rumour has it that the only person he loves more than his wife is A.B. de Villiers. This man has been involved in the community and social partnership MFC for a number of years, and his impact cannot be ignored. His passion for helping the various communities reflects on how much of a caring heart he has, and shows how much of a good man he is to all around him. He has given motivation for many students to continue his work at helping the community, and his passion is contagious, and has inspired us daily to help where we can. So, it is with great honor that I get to announce an unforgettable man, whose voice will forever be echoing through the walls of our school, and whose legacy will never be forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please get a warm welcome for our guest speaker, Mr. Lanz.
Good evening, members of the board, invited guests, fellow colleagues, and in particular, I want to pay a warm welcome to the colleagues from the SP and the JP. And as you will see, you are very welcome and very important to my story of my journey at Thomas More College. But of course, most importantly, welcome to the TMC Matrics of 2023. So there have been many prominent speakers, as well as past pupils, addressing this function. Well, I am neither of them. And so it is an honor for me to address you this evening. Now, I'm not sure if my invitation was because they were afraid of load shedding and the generator wouldn't work, or that it would rain, as it is now, and you have heard the rain on the tin roof. But whatever it is, you certainly, hopefully, can hear me. Can you? Papa Lanz's bark has always been louder than his bite. What I do know from 40 years of prize givings is that I need to keep it, well, relatively short and to the point, or else I lose my target audience, I think, up there. The staff usually have a draw, and I know they have one tonight, for the length of the guest speaker's talk. But as you will see, it is a subject that I am very passionate about, so I don't even know how long it is going to be. So good luck staff with that. I've spoken at numerous sports awards, assemblies, weddings, funerals, but never at a matric prize giving. So this old dog is learning a new trick this evening. Well, like a typical teacher, I've broken my speech down into two parts. Part one, fond memories of my 28 years at TMC. Part two, some inspiration, well, hopefully, to the matrics of 2023. Part one is certainly not a historical record or history of Thomas More College. Mike Leffler, a founder teacher, and Alan Chandler, a past headmaster, wrote great memories from a great school from 1962 to 2012. I'm not going to do that. I'm just relating some fond memories and stories from my 28 years. And hopefully, some of you will resonate with some of them. Well, starting with this hall. Well, this was the abandoned tennis court. The hall, well, the hall was the library. And if any of you remember, the whole school fitted in to that library. They did plays there, they did supper and song, and everything happened in that space. Obviously, as the school grew, the need for a hall was soon recognized, and so fundraising was done. You may have noticed, if you look back, there are many blocks at the back of the hall. These were families or companies or pupils and their parents who contributed to the building of this hall. Well, nowadays, I sort of use it for a different reason. As I invigilate and I go down the rows, I go and read a name or two. And then as I go up the next row, I try and remember who they were and what they did. And then if I get bored, because invigilation is rather boring, I then look up at the gallery over there and the headmasters and previous headmasters. Well, I taught with or under 12 of those 14 and knew the other 2. I will not relate some of the stories about them. Anything we did to pass the time in invigilation. But, Mrs. Kodachi, I was still invigilating, don't worry. So, you may know that this hall is named after Peter Hamilton, the then headmaster, who I knew through our association with provincial schoolboy cricket. At one of our meetings, he mentioned that there was an opening at Thomas More College for a geography teacher and a sports master. I was interested, and so I came for the interview. And then what sold me was, he said, we break early on a Friday and we play golf every Friday. Well, Peter Hamilton was here for 10 years. We managed one game of golf on one Friday. But these were exciting times for Thomas More College. It was a permanent construction site with the hall, classroom blocks, and much, much more. In fact, after the holidays, we would come back and we wouldn't recognize half the school. We went, all right, and you will see, we went from one class per grade to 2, then to 3, and eventually 4. Numbers grew, and as Jackie Hamilton opened a SP, and then a senior primary and a junior primary, pupils were being fed through the system. Of this year's matrics, 23 started at Thomas More College in grade 0, and we can see how successful that has been. The staff also grew from 17 to over 60 in the high school now. I remember there were 17 because of the supper and song. The staff sang a song with one verse for each staff member. Mrs. Van Sale might remember that song. As the numbers grew, we became more competitive in extracurricular activities. We were underdogs in most games, but I recall the Thomas More College Terriers causing increase in pupils. The facilities had to increase. The new pool was to be built, well, where our cricket nets were, but we were promised new ones and got them. The Astro was built, but that was where the bank of the boxcar derby used to take place, but a good replacement. There was also a squash court there, and I remember Mrs. Van Nicke being very indignant. Where was she now going to play squash? Pickering Field was expanded, and a grass wicket was planted there. And Mr. Hampton said the grass and bully had come from Wanderers. Certainly doesn't play like that nowadays. When the Boardman Field was built, well, it coincided with one of the floods in KZN, and all the soil and grass from Boardman ended up in the Palmit River and the Abgaini and out into the ocean. But all of these additions were great for Thomas More College. The SP and the JP needed classrooms, and their blocks were built. But they expanded so much. I remember Mr. Leffler's cottage. That cottage he built with the aid of the boys. But then it was converted into a classroom and then a music school. I'm sure he would have approved. The conservancy was cleaned up thanks to Mr. Kemp, Mrs. Allen and a couple of pupils. And now it was not only a place for the pupils to hide and get up to mischief, but to preserve the environment. And of course, of late, to do the loops of the long walk in. There were notable turning points in the history of Thomas More College. In 1975, a decision was made to go co-ed. Mr. Leffler did not agree with that. If you follow the progress of Thomas More College, you will know what a great decision that was. If you see our achievements of our girls academically, culturally, and sporting, they are up there with the best. Thomas More was also at the forefront of non-racial education in South Africa. In 1972, Chief Buthelezi was the guest speaker at this very prize giving, one of the first black speakers to address an all-white audience in South Africa in those days. He was the guest speaker again in 1995, but this time his grandson Alpheus was a pupil and chairman of the Students' Executive Council, head boy as we know it today. Thomas More College admitted pupils of different races way before the government gave permission. Once again, a great decision in a changing South Africa. But probably the decision that had the greatest impact on the future of Thomas More College was taken in 1990. The board made the decision to close the school. At a meeting, Mrs. Renee Garside, a then parent and wife of the late Mr. Ken Garside, the science teacher and later deputy head, and a close friend of mine, pleaded with the board to reconsider their decision. After numerous meetings, the decision was reversed, and the rest, they say, is history, as the school flourished and the reason why we are here today. Mr. Bill Pickering, the headmaster, made a statement: never underestimate the loyalty of your pupils, staff, and parents. How true his words became. Of course, through all this, the academics came on in leaps and bounds, from a sort of outdoor type of education in the 1960s to a mainstream academic school for all. There were many teachers responsible, some of who are here tonight, but that of late, none more so than our deputy head and head of academics, Mrs. Kadachi. One highlight being that in 2010, Reinhard Fechter got 10 A's. Well, no pressure, matrix. Of course, my fond memories of Thomas More would be incomplete without the mention of special events, starting with the Long Walk. We are unique in the world. No other school does this. So after walking a couple myself, I was always at the back, trying to encourage myself, first of all, and then others beside me. And so they said, well, you're actually quite good at this. Why don't you become the closing marshal? So I saw firsthand the true spirit of the Long Walk in the strugglers who finished at the back. Unfortunately, I never got to see my son and daughter finish. Well, Justin this year finished before I even got onto the campus from Winston Park. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here this evening as he is not well. The country fair, the esprit de corps with Ray Crissel and the organisers brought the whole Thomas More family together. Schools' cultural events will hold fond memories under the direction, firstly of Dawn Haynes, and then later Meg Logan and Tanya Conradi. On this stage, flying actors and the staff playing pirates in Peter Pan. Mr. Chandler, the then headmaster, said, "You were quite a good pirate." I said, "Yeah, maybe I wasn't acting. Maybe that's my true self coming out." And who will forget this year's Sister Act, the supper and song, where the staff always did a number, and the one-act plays. And these were always opportunities to see actors and actresses in a completely new light. And then, of course, my passion, sport and outreach. Many fond memories of teams, some unbeaten, like this year's under-15 rugby, but more importantly than that, the enthusiasm and the participation. And of course, particularly the tours, particularly the 3 overseas cricket tours with my mates, Pops Moorman, and the life and soul of any occasion, comedian Brimelow. There were many memories of outreach, but the ones that will stick with me are the Thomas More College pupils interacting with pupils from Lower Mulweny on an equal basis, treating them and others with dignity and love, and getting so much out of it themselves. And of course, our sponsored walk, where the whole school participated to raise funds for our outreach, with the themes and dressing up. And of course, this year, who will forget Michaela and the Minions? For tonight, we steal the moon! Fond memories of grade trips that are so essential to our all-round education, particularly the grade 11 leadership at Greystone and the grade 10 quest, learning so much about yourselves and each other. Fond memories of geography classes and pupils. I didn't have a matric class this year, so my fondest memory were of my grade 11s, those conscientious, particularly the girls. Very fond memories of the support staff and how they go about our campus, doing their menial tasks with a smile on their face. And last, but by no means least, my colleagues, all the fun and all the banter that we have had, particularly on Feel Good Fridays. My Fridays might be very different next year. They could be on the golf course, and it could only be feel good if I play well. So part 2, and so to the matrics of 2023. I can't give you advice. I can only suggest a few things from my experience and a bit of wisdom that comes with time and the AGE virus. You guys have been through COVID and all the masks and the protocols, online teaching, looting, flooding, and of course load shedding. Missing out on so many things. But at least the last couple of years you could get back. And this year you were able to get back to the matric dance, with of course the arrivals in all sorts of modes of transport. So you have the potential and you have developed all the skills to absolutely kill it at anything you put your mind to. The term swing the bat is a sporting term, but is just as relevant to life. Give it a go, and if you miss, well, swing it again, and you will hit sometime, and then who knows what can happen. Life is not a spectator sport, and when, and not if, you get knocked down, get up and persevere. All the rugby boys will know it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog that will determine your success. Your world is a very different place to what we experienced, but you are better equipped to leave a legacy like the legacy you have left at TMC in the academic, cultural, and sporting. Who will forget Rachel's throw-in at soccer? I wouldn't try it because there would be an ambulance coming to pick me up. And in particular, your encouragement of school spirit, new war cries, and then yesterday we even saw a unique marriage ceremony. But the legacy that I will remember this matric group for is for caring for each other, and in particular those less fortunate than yourselves, as can be seen from your support of Bread Buddy and all the outreach projects. I believe the world is crying out for leaders with integrity and compassion. Go out and be those servant leaders and leave that as a lasting legacy. I'm sure you will stay connected, and I wish you all well and the best for the exams. But I'm not going to say good luck, because as I tell all my classes, luck has got nothing to do with the results. And moms and dads, don't worry, they will be fine, and it will soon be over. So as we always conclude the ceremony with a blessing from Numbers 6, verses 24 to 26, I've made an adaptation. We have been very fortunate that both our children have gone through TMC, from I think the blue or red group right up to matric. And Mama Lanz has been here for 15 years, and she is still teaching maths. So she will be the main breadwinner next year. But we have been so blessed. So matrics, my prayer for you is that the Lord will bless you, and that the Lord will keep you, and that He will make His face to shine upon you, and He will be gracious unto you, and that He will lift up His face towards you and grant you His peace. And so, in the words of our esteemed father of our nation, Madiba, for this wonderful honor I have been bestowed, I thank you.